happy Monday for you. Happy Sunday for me. I'm filming this a little bit early, so I hope you guys had a great weekend. Got the Colts gear on today. I'm going to go ahead and predict Colts win today 23-21. Go look it up. Guaranteed. All right, so for this week's Fan 5, I normally don't do a review video for Mondays. We normally go over it live on Zoom, but I'm going to use my Zoom time a little bit differently today for those who are testing tomorrow. That way we can use that time just to review a little bit more, so when you come in, you feel prepared, you feel confident, and that way you can crush that test, because week A and AB people dominated. I couldn't be much more happy with how they did. So what I like to do is I like to use previous week's Fan 5s and previous EOG Fridays to kind of come up with the questions that I want to use. And the thing that I have discovered, and you guys know this as well as I do, our biggest mistakes have come from reading the question. As a math teacher, I'm pretty pumped about how well you guys do with your math. But reading the questions is just as important, if not more important, than getting the correct math. So what I tried to do this week is to give you a little bit more challenging questions to read, where I'm not necessarily worried about you doing the math correctly. It's going to require you to do some reading. So like a question like number 1, question like 2, and a question like 5, those 3 specifically are going to be tough if you don't read the question. Also, they might be pretty tough if you don't make some sort of visual. You guys know I'm a visual person. I like pictures. So anything that I show you here, my suggestion would be I would jot it down on a piece of paper in my notebook. You have the ability to press play, press pause. And then tomorrow when you do Fan 5, you can use those notes. So that part's completely up to you. But I'm going to have a really good idea tomorrow when you guys do Fan 5 in class of who watched and who did. Anyways, I'm going to start with number 1. It says, if I can get this out of the way, Adam has scored 1,293 points this season. Andrew has scored 3,482 more points than Adam. How many points have they scored combined? So here's what's going to happen. The people who kind of read are going to see that word combined, which is great. They're going to take those 2 numbers, they're going to add them together. But guys, you got to look at that carefully, because yes, it says, and this is one of those questions where I can make a visual, I can make a chart. So kind of do a little T-chart type of deal. I've got Adam and Andrew. I'll put AD for Adam, AN for Andrew. It says that Adam scored 1,293 points. We know that for sure. 1,293 points. But it does not say Andrew scored 3,482 points. It says he scored 3,482 points more than what Adam scored. So look, if I know this is what Adam scored, and I need to find 3,482 more than that, I would take those 2 numbers and add. So let's take 1,293 plus 3,482. So this part, if you need to use your fingers, use them. Just straight up addition. 3 plus 2 is 5. Tens place, 9 plus 8 is 17. 7 stays, 1 goes. Hundreds place, 4 plus 2 is 6, plus 1 is 7. And in the thousands place, 3 plus 1 is 4. Now, 4,775 is not my answer. That number represents what Andrew scored this season. So I can go ahead and put him, or that number under him on my T-chart. And this is where that word combined really is going to come in handy, because if I want to know how many points they scored combined, well, now I know both of their totals, and I can just take those numbers, I can add them up. Andrew had 4,775. Adam had 1,293. Starting in the ones place, 5 plus 3 is 8. Tens place, 9 plus 7, 16. 6 stays, 1 goes. Hundreds place, 7 plus 2 is 9, plus 1 is 10. 0 stays, 1 goes. And in the thousands place, 4 plus 1 is 5, plus 1 more gives me 6. That answer would be B, 6,068. And if you look at answer choice D, very similar looking, Okay, I think Charlie's trying to come up here. Mommy got him. D looks very similar, so you got to make sure your answer always matches what you circle. But that one would have been B. I'm willing to bet 90% of the wrong answers on that one will be picking A, because they're going to take those two numbers, add them together. But this more right here, super important. So be looking for something similar to that tomorrow when you're looking at number 1. All right, moving on to number 2. If you read this one, it's not hard. Well, let me take that back. If you read this one and you know your multiplication facts, it's not hard. Even if you don't know them that well, you've learned plenty of strategies last year and this year to help you solve it. It says there are 40 cupcakes at the birthday party. Albert and 4 friends are each going to eat an equal amount of cupcakes. How many cupcakes will each person eat? One misconception, one thing that people think is that when they see that word each, is that it automatically means to multiply. A lot of times it does, but each can also mean you have to divide. Depends on a couple of things. Now, there's other words in here in this word problem that also lead you to divide, but one place you can always look at is your answer choices. If you look at your answer choices, they are all getting smaller. All right, let me pause this because Charlie's freaking out down there. Oh, wait, I'm pausing share. What's happening? Resume share. All right, I don't really know where I left up. Charlie wants to come up here really bad, but there's no way I could do this video with him up here. So he's not happy. What I was saying is you can look at your answer choices and notice that they're all getting smaller. Okay, now, if you're going to be multiplying, there's no way your numbers are going to get smaller. When you multiply, your numbers get bigger. When you're dividing, your numbers get smaller. So that's one way to make me think, when I see each here, I should be doing division. Another thing you should see that makes you think, ooh, division. Guys, anytime you're breaking things up into equal amounts, equal groups, or you see the word split, that's a telltale sign that you're going to be doing division. The only problem is, if you don't read, you're going to take 40, you're going to divide it by 4, and you're going to get 10. If you did that, your math is awesome, but your reading is not. When it says Albert and 4 friends, that means Albert and 1, 2, 3, 4 friends are going to split those cupcakes, which is 5 people. So really, you're not doing 40 divided by the number you see. Here, you're doing 40 divided by 5. And the reason why I say if you know your facts, this is simple, because if you know 5 times something to get you 40, which is 8, boom, you're done. Now, if you don't, there's a couple of you specifically who are really good at this. If you don't know the division, you could list your multiples. You could say, okay, let me do 5, 10, 15, 20, up until you get to that number, which is 40. Or if you know you're splitting 40 between 5 people, you could draw 5 circles and start passing out cupcakes until you run out of the 40. I would prefer this way. If you memorize your facts, we do king and queen every day. You memorize your facts, this stuff becomes so much easier. So hopefully we can get to that point. Either way, that one would be 8, just like number 1. I bet 90% of the wrong answers, people are choosing B. Good math, not reading. All right, moving on to number 3. This one I would expect a ton of people to miss. You've never done one like this before. We did mess with perimeter last week, but it's still nothing really like this. So what I'm going to show you right now, I mean, if you do it, you can get it right. Maybe not tomorrow, but the next day. It says the area of my square garden is 81 square feet. What is the perimeter? Now look, last week we talked about perimeter. First time we had talked about it, that's when you measure the distance around the outside. Okay, area is kind of the opposite. Perimeter is the outside. Area is the inside. And you notice the word area is in all caps. The word square is in all caps. 2 pretty important things here. The first thing you should be doing for this question, if it gives you the name of a shape and you don't see that shape, you need to draw it. So if I've got a square garden, there's my square. It's actually pretty good. All right, think about what you know with a square. It's got 4 sides. It's got 4 right angles. most importantly about those sides, they are all equal. So we'll put these lines to show that all four of those sides are going to be the exact same length. Now, again, like perimeter, I think you guys did area and perimeter virtually last year. So you may not be very comfortable with area, but I'm going to say one thing about area that every time I say it, you need to think of it. When you think area, you need to think length times width. So how long a side is and how wide it is, to find the area, I would multiply those two to get that area. So like last week we had rectangles. Let's say it was 12 inches long, 3 inches wide. If I wanted to find the area of that rectangle, I would do length times width, 12 times 3, and it would be 36 square feet. Anytime we measure area, it's measured in square feet. So for this one though, it's a little bit different because it gave us the area. So I've got to be able to do something times something to get 81, length times width. But also those two numbers have got to be the same because a square has 4 equal sides. So I need a number right here, and I need a number right here that I can multiply length times width to get 81. Have I said that multiplication is going to make everything easier? Yes, I have. If you know your facts, you know automatically that 9 times 9 would give me 81. Now, even if you didn't, you could say, and I didn't mean to circle that, sorry. That was just, if you didn't, you could say, well, let me try 5 times 5, 6 times 6, 7 times 7, up until you got to 81. Now, the only problem is people are going to say, ooh, if I put a 9 right there, that answer is going to be B. But this is asking for the perimeter. So this is a similar question to what we looked at kind of last week. Excuse me. If I know my length and my width are going to be 9, that means, let me change my color. I've got 9 here, 9 here, 9 here, and 9 here. And if you remember how to find the perimeter, we add all the way around the outside. We can do 9 plus 9 plus 9 plus 9. Or for this specific shape, because it's a square, we could do 9 times 4, and we would get 36 feet. So you've got to know that the area is equal to the length times width. Whatever the area is, you've got to be able to multiply two numbers to get it. When you're dealing with a square, those two numbers have to be the same because it's got 4 equal sides. But then if I got to find the perimeter, I got to add all the way around. That's going to be the lowest today. I'm just going to predict that. And potentially the lowest all week. This is a great question that I'll be able to tell Wednesday, Thursday, even Friday, who has been taking notes, who's been paying attention when I go over this one, because this is one that you can snap, get a light bulb go off, and get correct. So I'm not necessarily sweating that one today or tomorrow or the next day. Brand new, probably the most difficult maybe on here. You know, I keep saying stuff, then I'm like, well, you know, number 4 might have been the hardest because you never done one like this either. So number 4 says, Charlie has 49 bags of Cheez-Its. There are 44 Cheez-Its in each bag. How many total Cheez-Its are there? 2 words that pop out to me, if I can do this correctly, each and total. Again, each, we could be multiplying, we could be dividing. Look at the answer choices. 3 out of 4 of those, actually, I'm sorry, all of those answer choices are getting bigger than the numbers that we're dealing with. So I can't be dividing. So that leads me to think I'm probably multiplying these numbers. Now, when you see total, you could solve this with addition. But I really don't want you to do 49 plus 49 plus 49 plus 49 44 different times. So repeated addition is really just the same thing as multiplication. So we're going to do it that way. So we have done multiplication in the past, like 1,363 times 3. We've done that. But we've never multiplied before where we had a 2-digit number at the bottom. Little funky. We're going to do it. So we're multiplying 49 times 44. Now what I want you to try to do, this is one of those questions where you're going to hear me say pirate eye. If you think about a pirate, they got an eye patch, right? I want you to stick your thumb up and pirate eye and cover up the 4 that's in the tens place. Because when you do that, it just looks like 49 times 4, and that's something we're comfortable with doing. So if I'm going like this, 49 times 4, I would start, I'm going to change my color here, maybe. In the ones place, I would do 4 times 9. I would get 36. So I'd put a 6 here, carry that 3 over. All right. Then I'm going to stay in the ones place. I'm going to do 4 times 4. I would get 16 plus 3 more would give me 19. Now, I am done in the ones place, but now I got to come over here to the tens place and do something with this number. Before I do anything, I'm going to come down here and I'm going to start a new line of numbers, but the very first thing I'm going to put is a 0. Some people will put an X, doesn't matter, I always put a 0. I'm going to put a 0 right here for 2 reasons. Well, really just one reason. It's called my placeholder, okay? If I'm multiplying right here by the tens place, the first number that I put down here has got to go in the tens place. So if I just start right here and it goes in the ones place, that won't work. So I put a 0 as my placeholder. That way, when I multiply by the tens, first number I put down here is in my tens place. So then I do the exact same thing that I just did with the 1 or with the 4 in the ones place. I'm going to start right here. I'm going to go across. I'm going to do 4 times 9. I'm going to get 36. So my 6 stays and my 3 goes. Now, I'll just put another 3 right there. Then I'm going to go here, multiply by the tens place. 4 times 4, 16, plus 3 more is 19. And since there's nothing to carry over, or there is something to carry over but no more numbers, I just put the 19 down. Then once I've got those 2 numbers, all I've got to do is add them together. In the ones place, 6 plus 0 is 6. Tens place, 9 plus 6 is 15. 5 stays, 1 goes. Hundreds place, you got 9 plus 1 is 10, plus 1 is 11. 1 stays, 1 goes. Thousands place, 1 plus 1 is 2. 2,156 would be your answer, which is D. Again, I am going to know, if you're watching the videos, taking notes, because if you're getting this question correct, you can't really guess and get lucky on this one or get close. There's a certain way that it's got to be done. The biggest mistake people always forget is this placeholder right here. When you come down to that second line, make sure you put that 0. That way, you're putting your next number in the right spot. So I lied about 3 being the hardest. 4 is right there with it, I think, because you've never done it before. Last one, number 5. The math on this one is not hard. The reading is. If you're not a visual person, I would maybe try to be a visual person because it helps. So I'm going to read the whole thing, but then I'm going to come back and I'm going to read a little and I'm going to do a little. It says, Spider-Man works 6 days a week. Each day, he stops 9 criminals. 31 of those criminals had blonde hair. 6 of them had red hair. The rest of them have black hair. How many criminals have black hair? That's a lot of words right there, y'all. A lot of words. But if you break it down, read a little, do a little, then keep going, read a little, do a little, you'll be in good shape. So let's just start with the first sentence. Spider-Man works 6 days a week. Y'all, it's as easy as that for me. Some people might want to do a chart and put Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, whatever, doesn't matter. But there's my 6 days right there. Each day, he stops 9 criminals. Each. So again, I'm just going to use what I got. 9 criminals here, 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 and here. Now, right here, I'd probably stop and I would think, well, what can I go ahead and do right now? 6 days a week, 9 criminals each day. What could I do with those 2 numbers? Well, if you look at the word each, you're probably thinking I could go ahead and multiply. And looking at those pictures, you probably think you can multiply or add, whatever you're comfortable with. But if you did 9 times 6, you would get 54. Now, here's where I would stop and think, okay, what does that 54 represent? Is that 54 days? Is that 54 criminals? What is it? Well, if there's 9 criminals in each of those boxes or each of those circles, which represent our days, we know that 54 is criminals. All right? So I've got 31 with blonde, 6 of the ones with red, the rest have black hair. Now look, we don't care about the blonde hair people. I'm sure they're great. We don't care about the red hair people. I'm sure they're lovely as well. So let's go ahead and get rid of them so we can just have what's left, which is the people we do care about, the black hair. Well, I guess mine's brown. I don't know. So let's go ahead and get rid of the blonde hair, people. 4 minus 1 is 3. 5 minus 3 is 2. Boom. Still not done. Let's get rid of the redheads. 3 minus 6, can't do it. More on the floor. Go next door. Get 10 more. This 2 becomes a 1. This 3 becomes a 13. And then you can subtract. You can get 13 minus 6 is 7. Bring down that 1 is 17. And C would be your answer. Again, math, not hard on that one. Reading it and putting a picture to it, a little bit more challenging, but I think that helps you a ton. So I don't even know how long this video is going right now. I'm sure it's a long one. The Mondays always are. If you got a 0 today, a 1 today, a 2 today, you shouldn't be stressed at all. You know the goal is from whatever you get Monday, bring it up till you get a 5 on Friday, hopefully. So I hope this video helps. Make sure you're looking at the groups week A, people. Week A, yeah, it's on Canvas. You're obviously on Canvas if you're watching this video. That way you know to come and get a little bit of extra review for your test tomorrow. All right, y'all. Thanks for watching. Go Colts. 23-21.